challenge is about attitude. John Mitchell said our attitude toward life determines life's attitude toward us. Man, that's a mouthful. I know we've all heard this. Your attitude can determine your altitude. But I just want to tweak that a little bit and say this. Your attitude will determine your altitude, because nobody wants to be around anyone who has a toxic attitude. Everybody wants to be around someone whose attitude is empowering. Am I right about that? Absolutely. If I'm a downer, you're going to leave me alone. You're going to avoid me like the plague. But if I'm a person who's empowering, if I'm a person who is uplifting, you're going to seek me out. So whether we are a career professional who is employed by somebody else, or we're a career professional who has our own business, we're all in the marketplace vying for market share. We are all career professionals. And it's important for us to know where our attitude falls, honestly falls, because sometimes we can present an attitude to the world, right? But what are we saying behind closed doors? What's our self-talk? So here are 2 checks for you. The first check is to see what the world, or at least the people closest to you, think about your attitude. So ask 2 or 3 of your trusted friends where your attitude falls. Is it on a scale from 1 to 10, 1 being toxic and 10 being empowering? Is it toxic? Is it empowering? Or is it somewhere in between? Ask 2 or 3 people that you trust to gauge where you are. And then be honest with yourself. Behind the closed doors, when nobody's talking to you, how are you talking to you? Do you feel yourself being uplifted? Or do you feel that you need somebody to get you out of the trenches after you finish giving it to yourself? So that's all that we need to do to at least know where we are, and then make a change. And do I think people will be honest with you? I think that at least if they are a trusted friend and you ask them, you deserve to get their honest opinion. And if you ask them, maybe they won't give you a 1. Maybe they will give you, a decent range. So you gotta have at least one friend or one I know you got one family member. I know we have at least one family member that if you say, be straight with me, really be straight with me, they might know that you're gonna be a little salty about it. But at the end, tell them that you're doing an experiment and that you're trying to get better, and you really need to know how people are experiencing you. Tell them that you're not going to be, this is only if you can take the truth, if you can handle the truth. Sometimes we can't handle the truth. And if we can't handle the truth, then maybe this is not the exercise for you. If they give you a 5, you're probably a 3, you're probably right. So, put a little probability and statistics in there and a little variable so that you can kind of gauge where you are. But it's worth an honest try, the old college try. But if nobody else is going to be honest with you, can you be honest with yourself? Because in the end of the day, if you don't see your business growing, if you don't see yourself being promoted, if you don't see yourself being included in some of the things that you feel could be advancing to your personal cause with regard to relationships, work, spirituality, if you don't see that moving, something needs to be checked. So be the one that does the check so that at the end of the day, you're not in the dark. You're not in the dark and everybody else knows and you don't know. There's something called a Johari window. And the Johari window is a psychological method of understanding where a person is or where you are. And there are 4 panes to this Johari window. There are 4 panes to a lot of these different methodologies. And the upper right-hand pane, for you, I'm going to do this, but the upper right-hand pane is overarching, there is a problem. The upper right-hand pane says, I don't see the problem and you don't see the problem. The next pane down says, you see the problem and I don't see the problem. The cross pane, which is on the left-hand side for you, I see the problem and you don't see the problem. And then the next pane down, we both see the problem. And when we can both see the problem, then the problem really can be addressed. And so, attitude is the challenge today. See if you can move the needle on where your attitude is. Now, some of us are OTT, which is over the top. Like we're 10, we're going on a 15, and people can't be around us because of the brightness and the electricity that's coming, coming out of who we are. And that may very well be a good thing, because sometimes if people can handle it, why are they so normal when you're so above normal, right? But the bottom line is that we need to know if we're going to move the needle in our professional world, whether, again, we are a person who works for somebody else or we own our own business, our attitude can and will determine our altitude. So today, take the time to get a gauge on your attitude quotient. From 1 to 10, where do you fall? Have an amazing